up, you guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Fit Women's Weekly podcast. I am coming at you from my studio this morning, as in not my recording studio. I wish I had a recording studio, that would be awesome. No, my fitness studio, because I have a jammed-packed day of recording and of filming and of cooking, and this is what works. I brought all of my equipment with me to the gym today, where we're going to record this podcast, give you guys hopefully some really good bits of information to take with you to expand your fitness knowledge and make you go, that's pretty cool. If you've never listened into an episode before, welcome. I hope that you find something that you enjoy listening to and you decide to go back and listen to previous episodes and that you become a regular here in the Fit Women's Weekly podcast community, because I freaking love this community. You guys are my girlfriends. I love sitting down with you guys, talking about what's going on, different events in life, sharing the day-to-day chaos, and of course, sharing my passion with fitness, nutrition, and all things living your fitness. I haven't really brought up living your fitness very often lately, but it's the whole idea of using the fitness that you spend so much time working on, right? What good is it to spend hours in the gym or hours out on the roads running if you don't get out and use that fitness to experience life more? So I ask you this week, what is it lately that you've been doing to live your fitness? For me personally, I'm training for an ultra. I say that very loosely. I'm not training probably as hard as I should. I am confident in it. I think I'm going to be okay. We're right at a month out from the race, but yeah, that is what I'm excited for right now. I'm spending my time getting stronger in the gym, picking up heavier weights, focusing on longer runs on the weekends, and building up that confidence so that I can go and do freaking cool things with a lot of other really cool people. So that's what I'm excited for. In today's podcast episode, though, we're not going to talk about ultras. You guys don't care about that. We're going to talk about HIIT workouts, specifically what are HIITs, what are different types of HIITs, what makes HIIT training so valuable and so efficient. And then we're going to talk about how long does a fit workout actually need to be. Before we do that, though, there were a couple of other questions. I had a couple of questions on HIIT, which is why we're going to talk about it. But there were a couple of other questions that I thought that I would answer real fast from you guys. And if you ever want a question or a topic covered on this podcast, just slide into my DMs over on Instagram, Kendall Boyle Fitness, or if you're watching this over on YouTube, just ask them down in the comments and you might see it even in the next episode. So never hold back. I love connecting with you guys. I look at this as coffee time. If we were girlfriends sitting in a coffee shop, talking over things, and you were to say, hey, Kendall, what do you think that I should do about ABC? If it's something that I feel like I am knowledgeable on, I would give you my opinion on it, and that's what I would do here as well. So first question was, somebody asked, is there such a thing as eating too many blueberries, and could it cause dizziness and issues with vitamin K? Now, the long or the short is I'm not a blueberry expert, so I had to do the same thing that you would do asking this question, and that was to Google it. I just did a little bit of research on it, and it was pretty much the exact answer that I thought that it would be, because there's such a thing as eating too much of anything, right? There's always overabundance in something where a little is good, but we always get into this idea that a lot is better, and that's not always the case. Now, what is that actual threshold for blueberries? I don't exactly know, but a serving size is generally about a cup. And yes, you can consume too many blueberries. And specifically, yes, blueberries are high in vitamin K. And if you do eat tons of blueberries, then you do run the risk of going into an overload of vitamin K, which could cause different issues with blood clotting issues. It could cause dizziness. It could cause fatigue and nausea. The list goes on and on. If you think that you could have an issue with vitamin K, go get your blood work done, go check it out. However, if you're just experiencing dizziness and you're going, is it because I put blueberries in my shake every day? The chances of that are pretty slim. So again, I would just go check in with a doctor, see what they may have to say with it, because there could be something else obviously going on. Actually, it's really funny. Dan and I were talking not too long ago that there's a type of bear, I believe it's in Alaska, that eats not blueberries, but some type of berry. And it eats so many of them that the color of their meat tissue, their muscle tissue, is actually purple from eating all of the berries, which I thought was really cool. And just like you've heard of people that have eaten too many carrots and then the carotene causes their skin to go a little bit orange. So just like everything in life, There is such a thing as too much. If you're concerned about that, just go chit chat with your doctor. I will say my husband has been eating probably at least a cup of berries every single day for at least the past 5 years, and he's doing well. So I'd assume getting to an overdose of blueberries is pretty hard, but it's not impossible. So again, if you're having strange symptoms, just go talk to your doctor about it. The second question that I received was, what are my secrets with hair care? You guys, I am the least, I don't want to say girly girl, because I do like to put time and effort into how I look. I do put makeup on. On the weekends, I spend a little bit extra time putting makeup on because I like playing around with it. But in terms of spending money on products or doing something specific for my hair, I don't do it. Because I do work out so much, it stays up in a pineapple 6 days a week, and that is not my forte. I wash it 2 times per week. I do try to brush it every day because it staying up all the time means that the loose hairs that naturally fall out every day don't come out because it's always stuck up. And so if I try to go 2 days without actually brushing my hair, then it's just like handfuls of loose hair that comes out at once, which can be a little like, oh my God, what's going on? When reality is it's normal, but most people lose it within a day and it comes out and they don't see it. Mine's all coming out in 3 days because it's stuck up in a ponytail. So I do try to brush my hair every day just so it's not such a shock. And then as far as my shampooing, it's every 2 to 3 days. I don't use a lot of dry shampoo because I think that is not the best for your hair or for your scalp. I only use it if I'm trying to do like an updo and I need a little bit of extra texture, but I do use an all-natural brand of dry shampoo, which I can put down below if you're interested. And then as far as the actual shampoo and conditioner, my beautician, my hairstylist would kill me because I just get what's on sale at CVS. I just don't care. I think the one that I use now is like Heritage or some brand like that where the bottle looks fancy. It was on sale and I was like, cool, I will try that out. So yeah, that's my tips on hair care. And then other than that, I just embrace the dirtiness. I did actually wash it last night, and I always hate the day after you wash it because it doesn't stay up very well because it is so soft that while I'm doing my workout, I have to redo my ponytail at least 2 times. Whereas if you have that one day of a little bit of the natural oils help it stay in place. Anybody else? Anybody else have that? But if you are a hair person, if you're a stylist, what is the best brand of shampoo? What is the best way to take care of your hair? Should we be washing our hair more? Should we be washing our hair less? Let me know. Fill me in, and I will share that information with all the other listeners. And then the final question that I got before the high intensity stuff was, and this is so kind, Angie asked me, how am I honestly doing right now? And thank you for that. I know that over on Instagram, the past week or 2, I was in a pretty down place. I had some personal things going on, kind of hit rock bottom with a couple of different spots. And I kind of mentioned that I wouldn't talk too much about it because it was so personal. But Dan and I also were very open with it with our friends and family this past weekend. Marriage is hard. That's what I'm going to say. I have been with the same man for what will be 18 years at the beginning of April, end of March, however you want to look at our dating anniversary. Regardless, it'll be 18 years in the next month or 2. And it never gets easy. I will say that. I love my husband, but we went through a really down period lately of having to really sit down with each other and decide, are we so stuck in our ways that we're not willing to change for one another? And if that's the case, then we need to walk away. Or are we willing to really listen to one another and make the necessary changes and really fight for what we have? Marriage, nobody will say that marriage is easy, and you go through your ups and downs, and it was just a really down time for us. So that's just me being open. I'm not really going to say too much more than that, except to say that I deeply love my husband. I am very much in love with my husband, and neither of us wanted to walk away. So we fought, and things are on the up and up, and every day is a battle to live with another person, essentially, right? Like that's what you're doing, is you're living with one another, and you're never going to look at that person and be like, you are everything that I want and everything I need right this second, every single second of the day. And we just had to have a really heart-to-heart, especially I think a lot of people now forget that for years, Dan and I worked together at home for Fit Women's Weekly and for the studio that we ran that was called This Time Fitness. And now he's back to a 9-to-5, but we're still trying to grow a business and work together. And so trying to navigate this new way of living and communication, it's been hard. But yes, things are better. I am very happy. I am in a much better mental place. So thank you guys. And it kind of feels really good to get that off of my chest as well. So if you guys have any marriage or relationship questions, let me know. I feel like I've been through a lot. Obviously I've been with the same guy 18 years. I would be happy to talk more about marriage and relationships if that is something that you would like me to talk about. Let me know. All right, moving on. But thank you, Angie. I am doing much, much better. Let's talk about HIT training. I have all of my notes written down. I do not want to forget everything, though. My screen is so dirty. Okay, first off, what is HIT training? HIT training is a type of interval training that stands for high intensity interval training. I think most of us know that. And it includes, obviously, rounds of super high intensity work followed by a lower intensity movement or complete rest. So there's active recovery, or you can just sit on your booty for couple of seconds up to a couple of minutes before you go into your next interval session. And during the intense portion, your heart rate needs to climb high. It needs to be at least 80% of your max heart rate to be classified as high intensity intervals. There are other forms of interval training where it's just maybe a little bit of work and you're just moving. But for high intensity, you really want to be able to get that max heart rate up, going to around 80% of your max heart rate, which, if you are curious, max heart rate is 220 minus your age. Now, that is not a perfect equation, but it is the best that we can do to make it as simple as possible. Now, there are a couple of different types of HIT training, such as a Tabata, which most of us have heard of Tabata, and it was originally created in 1996 in Japan as a way of training for speed skaters. So, fun fact, and so the coach that created it actually had a scientist, Dr. Tabata, look at their way of doing the Tabata had a scientist look at their way of training, doing these Tabatas, to figure out if they really were as efficient as he thought. And so if you are new to Tabata training, it is 8 rounds or 4 minutes of 20 seconds on, going full out, 100%, followed by just 10 seconds of exercise. So here's what they found out. So one group tested with Tabata training, the 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Another group tested were assigned to just run at an easy pace for 60 minutes. So one group was sprinting for 20 seconds, one group was running a nice even keel pace for 60 minutes, 5 times a week. But only Tabata group saw a whopping 28% in anaerobic capacity. So the total amount of energy produced without oxygen. And of course, these findings went around the globe, and it has now become known as Tabata training. So Tabatas are great at aerobic capacity and anaerobic capacity, which means that you are building your strength gains at the same time. So you're going to work on being able to work out more efficiently with oxygen and without. Other forms include AMRAPs, as many rounds as possible in a given amount of time. So maybe you're going to do 10 push-ups followed by 10 lunge jumps, which is actually a variation of what I did yesterday, for a minute straight, as many rounds as you can go, and then take, anywhere from 20 seconds to 90 seconds of rest before you repeat that again. The third common one is an EMOM, every minute on the minute, which is my personal favorite form of interval training. So every minute on the minute simply means that, let's take the burpees for example, and I'm going to explain this specific one at the end of today's podcast, where as soon as I hit the timer for 1 minute, I'm going to knock out 10 burpees. And so 10 burpees doesn't take me a full minute. So then whatever left of that minute is then rest. And then when that minute is over, a new minute immediately begins, and I will either repeat that 10 burpee sequence again or maybe another exercise. So maybe on every odd number. So when I hit 1, minute 3, minute 5, I'll do 10 burpees. Maybe the even numbers, I'll do 15 squat jumps or something like that. But regardless of, you try to push through as fast as you can so that you get a longer rest period before the next minute begins. And you don't have to just do it with every 1 minute. You can do it with every 2 minutes. You can do EMOM 90 seconds, 3 minutes. I've seen EMOMs every 5 minutes, and I've done EMOMs every 5 minutes. So things are meant to be tweaked and changed depending on what you want to do. And then fartleks are the last common one, which just means unorganized intervals. Fartleks are really big for speed training for runners, which is instead of saying I'm going to do speed work for 5 rounds of 200s where I'm going to run 200 meters 5 times. Instead, it's I'm going to run, and I'm looking outside, like looking at what's around me. I'm going to run from here to the stop sign as fast as I can. And then I'm going to jog to the next stop sign, and then I'm going to sprint from that stop sign to the next stop sign and repeat that. Or maybe it's going to be to this stop light or that person's mailbox. So there's no actual, like, I'm going to do it for X amount of time or X amount of distance. It's very disorganized, but it's fun because you're not running on such a scheduled routine, and it does help to build speed and stamina. So next question, how long should workouts be, HIIT workouts? So because they're so intense, HIIT workouts don't need to last an hour, and they shouldn't. They should be pretty hard on your body where you should be taxed out. And keep in mind that the CDC recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity workouts per week or 75 minutes of vigorous, intense exercise per week. So we're talking 75 minutes of exercise per week. You can divide that up. Ideally, the best amounts of workouts per week ranges from 3 to 4. So if you're going to be doing all high intensity training, which I don't necessarily recommend, but if that's what you're going for and you want to take that 75 minutes, then I would divide that between 3 different workouts, which comes out to 25 minutes per workout. And that's very, very doable. So depending on your schedule though, an effective workout can be as little as 10 minutes and then as long as 30 minutes or even longer, depending on what your training level is. If you're new to fitness, I don't recommend doing intense interval training because again, remember, when you are in the workout part of the interval, you should be giving it 100%. If you're undertrained or new to fitness, that's going to be really hard on your system. So start small and build up, just like with any type of fitness, right? You're never going to just throw yourself and go all in. You want to build up. You should always have a little bit left in the tank so that you're able to come back and so that you're not giving 75 minutes of HIIT training and then you can't work out for a full week. You're much better breaking that up into 3 25-minute sessions over the course of the week so that you can continue with 3 25-minute sessions to build consistency, and that consistency is what's going to give you results. So just one little recap, again, looking at my notes. If you are able to keep going after your workout is done and you're not like, oh my God, that was so tough, then you're not doing it right. You might be doing an interval workout, but you're not doing a HIIT workout. So not every workout needs to take you heart rate to max, but the days where you're specifically short on time, you really, really want to push it to make sure that you are getting the most out of it. So if you're resting and thinking like, I don't need this long to rest, I think I could just go ahead and get started, and you're supposed to be taking a 60-minute rest, but at around the 30-second mark, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to get going. Then again, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. Maybe you need to move faster, maybe you need to lift heavier, whatever the case may be. Spend some time focusing on it and deciding, maybe I need to reevaluate some things. But for the most part, a proper HIIT workout can last anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes to 45 minutes, again, depending on where you are and how consistent that you are with your exercise. But there are a couple things that I want, and I think I had this written up here, but the one cool thing is that studies have shown is that 30 minutes of HIIT in terms of fat burning potential and calorie burning potential has the same or better effects as a 60-minute lower intensity workout. So that's what makes them so great, because you can really become efficient. We are all short on time, right? We all love to get our workout in, but not everybody has 60 to 90 minutes to work out most days of the week. So getting in HIIT training for 30 minutes where your heart rate is up, you're getting that cardiovascular exercise, which is so important. People are always like, no, you're either on the strength train or the cardio train. You need to be on both trains to live to be a healthy individual. You need the strength gains for your muscles, for your neurological system, for your bone density, but you also need that cardiovascular exercise for your lungs, your heart, and your mental health. Come on, we all know that cardio gives us happy endorphins, right? So make sure that you're incorporating both, and HIIT is a great way to be able to do that. So here are a couple of things that you should keep in mind. Moves that require a lot of focus. When you're this is what to consider when you're putting together your HIIT training, kind of looking at workouts, being like, maybe I'll do this. And you can start seeing other people's HIIT workouts online and go, is that a good fit for me? And here's some things to possibly consider. Moves that require a lot of focus and form, like barbell snatches or overhead squats, might not be such a good idea for HIIT training, because HIIT training, you're trying to move as fast as possible. You're trying to get that heart rate up. So if you're doing a technical skill where you're having to think about it, you are putting yourself at risk for a serious injury, and that is not the point. If you want to work on overhead squats or snatches, that needs to be something completely different, more in a focused time where you can give yourself the time and the energy to work on those skills, and you're more focused on the load and the form versus the speed and the burn that you're trying to get from it. And then number 2 is go big. Try and make sure that you're focusing on big compound movements versus isolated exercises. You're trying to make the most efficient workout possible in the shortest amount of time. So instead of doing bicep curls, you want to focus on the big movements like push-ups, step-ups, burpees, squats, kettlebell swings. Kettlebell snatches, while barbell snatches I don't think are a good idea for doing HIIT training, kettlebell snatches, however, are a great way to really get in a great shoulder mobility exercise, a great shoulder muscle building exercise, back exercise, and you can go really fast with those. Wall balls are another great one. Wall walks are a really good one if you are a little bit more advanced. So things like that where they're pretty easy if you are efficient in those movements to move fast without worrying so much about hurting yourself. And for some people, deadlifts might work. For some people, deadlifts will not work. For me, I've been doing this long enough that I can do deadlifts in a HIIT training session, but I have some girlfriends of mine that I train with who I don't want to see them doing that, because I would be worried that they're going to blow out their back because they're not able to really focus on their core strength and keeping a straight spine while they're going through their movements in such a intense way, if that makes sense. So there you go. And then to the people that say HIIT training is not safe for hormone imbalance, it's dangerous for women, do the research. That's a whole nother podcast, and maybe I should do an episode on that. But this particular episode, I wanted to break down the what's and the whys and the hows of HIIT training. And I will say I have been focused on HIIT training for my own personal training for over a decade now. And I continue to get stronger. I continue to get leaner. I continue to get faster. And I continue to be a healthy working woman. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And to the last question is, can you build strength with HIIT training? Abso-freaking-lutely. Anytime that you're progressively pushing yourself harder from one training session over another and continue to do that, you will see yourself getting stronger and putting on muscle mass. But the thing to keep in mind, that's going to be obviously faster for unconditioned people that are new to it. Just like people always ask, can you burn fat and build muscle simultaneously? Yes, but for people who are conditioned and who have been doing exercise and eating healthy for a long time, it's a slower process. It's a little bit harder versus people who are brand new and their body goes, "What are you doing?" And it reacts very quickly to body composition changes. It's the same thing with this. So people that are brand new are going to see a lot faster results in terms of the strength that they can get, their body composition changing, and their figure changing as well. And that's just something that you got to stay a little bit patient with and just know that's part of the process. And then the last thing that I'm going to end on is sharing with you, almost dropped my computer, is sharing 2 of my favorite HIIT workouts. First one being the burpee EMOM workout, which I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast. And it is simply 10 minutes of a 1-minute EMOM. So every minute on the minute doing 12 burpees. When I first started doing this workout years ago, I started with 10 burpees, and then I've slowly been able to progress. And now I can do 12 burpees every minute on the minute. And that will give me about 20 to 25 seconds worth of rest between the next session. And I try to make it a game so that I keep every burst of burpees taking the same amount of time, so that, as you get tired, you generally will slow down. But I make sure that I keep a clock in front of me so that I can see my pace, and I make it a fun game to try to make every round of the 10 the same. And that makes it really hard and really, really fun. And you need zero equipment. So doing something like this when you're on vacation, 10 minutes and you're done. The other one was actually part of a workout, or not part of a workout. It was a workout that we did a couple of days ago in my kettlebell series for Fit Women's Weekly Live, which is my online training site. What? Self-promotion here. Go try it out for free every day. I go live 2 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, one 30-minute workout, one 60-minute workout, and I would love to have you join me for a workout. But this was one of the 30-minute workouts that I did on Friday, and it was a 2-minute AMRAP. So 2 minutes, as many rounds as you can get through, of 8 kettlebell swings and 4 alternating devil's presses. You rest for 1 minute and you repeat that for 7 rounds. So each chunk is 3 minutes, because 2 minutes of exercise, 1 minute of rest, 7 rounds. It's a 21-minute workout. We had a 9-minute warm up just to kind of get our bodies used to picking up the kettlebell, getting our hips warmed up with some hip hinge movements, and then we jumped right in. So it was exactly 30 minutes. This workout is still available. It will always be available in the Fit Women's Weekly group. So if you want to do it, you can either do it by yourself or, like I said, sign up to try Fit Women's Weekly Live for free, and you can just click play and do it right along with me. And again, it's 2-minute AMRAP, 8 kettlebell swings, 4 alternating devil's presses with a kettlebell for 2 minutes, rest 1 minute, complete 7 rounds. All right, you guys, that's all I got for Hiit today. If you have questions or comments or concerns, you know the drill. Go log in to Facebook, or not Facebook. I'm never on Facebook, you guys, except for Fit Women's Weekly Live stuff. Go over into Instagram, slide into my DMs, Kendall Boyle Fitness. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, comment down in the comment section. Make sure that you subscribe, like the podcast, and yeah, I've got a really exciting reveal, I guess, or some really exciting news coming at you on Friday's episode, so be on the lookout for that. But I'm really excited that Dan and I are going to be launching a really new feature. It's going to be super useful to you guys, coming very soon, so be on the lookout. Thank you for hanging out with me. Again, make sure you like, you subscribe, you do all the things. And if you're listening to this as a podcast and you have the ability to write a review, please just take a minute or two and write that review. Just be like, Kendall's the best. We're girlfriends. We chit chat. We talk all the things. It would really mean a lot to me and to the channel. All right, you guys. Thank you. Bye.